Welcome back to the shop. Today is a reevaluation of my workshop. I've had the sander on it for a while, for the last month or two, and it's super handy having it on the bench. However, cleaning stuff on the bench just makes it messy. I'm just constantly cleaning up dust and everything. And it's not consolidated, so I can't just like sweep it up and throw it into a dustpan and throw it in the garbage can. It's just all over the damn place, and it's starting to fill the drawers up. So I'm gonna have like a clean side of the shop, so to speak, and then the dirty side of the shop. So anyway, I'm working on getting the workbench straightened up, and then I'm gonna bring you over to where I've got all the sand and stuff. All right, so I've got a pallet that I saw somebody throwing away, and it was made out of 2x6s, and it's really sturdy. So anyway, I made it into a table, and now I got a workbench down there that's so cluttered I can't do anything with it, so that's sort of why I'm cleaning up. It's just a mess. But anyway, so I've got the 42-inch belt sander here. I've got a 4x36-inch compound Chinese junker. It needs a stronger motor on it, I guess. It's just, it works though. I mean, you've seen it in a lot of the other videos. And then I've got my the PowerTech. You've seen this a million times. This was probably the cheapest buffer grinder I could find on Amazon. Because I wasn't sure that I really wanted one. So I said, you know, I could, let me get one and see if I try it out, because I had a Craftsman and I killed it, and after a lot of hours. But anyway, I've sort of fallen in love with the die grinders, and I'll bring you over to those in a second. But anyway, I've put a lot of time on this, and it served me well. So anyway, price doesn't always reflect value, if that, or worth. Anyway, for the 60 bucks or so I spent on this, actually I think this was a scratch and dent. I think I got this for 45 bucks. But anyway, it's small. It's probably underpowered compared to these giant ball door 10-inch, 14-inch ones you see on Vintage Machinery and A-Bomb's new grinder and all that stuff. But you know, for the stuff I do, this is good. And I'd like to have a bigger one, but you know, space is such an issue with me. But anyway, let me bring you over to the die grinders. Alright, so here's my die grinder collection. I hate changing bits, so I've got some Scotch-Brite wheels, some assorted wire wheels, carbide burrs. This is sort of an interesting one. This is an epoxy encapsulated wire brush for cleaning, like if you had to go through a valve bore or something like that and clean the valve stem. But anyway, it's sort of an interesting tool. I think that the reason it's encapsulated also is to sort of mitigate from parts flying around. So I guess if you were in some sort of clean lab or workspace or something like that and you had to work on something, it would keep shit from flying everywhere. And then the cut-off wheels and all that stuff. Love these tools. These are just the best things under the sun. But anyway, those work great, and I guess there's no replacement for a bench grinder. But anyway, the die grinders are super handy to have, but of course you got to have a decent size air compressor for that. But anyway, I'm going to keep working on the shop, and no doubt I'll get into some project and something entertaining. Not sure if this is worthy of spreading all over the YouTube, but now that I'm redoing the sanding table over there, I've been plugging things in and out off the extension cord. I've got a hanging retractable extension cord, and I'm just, it's a pain in the ass going back and forth. So anyway, I'm gonna finally put in a multi-outlet thing here. But the thing that I hate is these little knockouts. And typically what you would do is, if you wanted to do it correctly inside your house, is you go through and you put a piece of tape like this, and then you get a pencil or get something to write with. So you sort of got these things marked out, so that you say, okay, well, here's my first hole, and then my second hole, and then you go up and you take your, I didn't plan this out very well, your blue tape on your your wall. So anyway, you go up there, put that on your wall, boom, boom, you got your 2 holes. And that's easy enough, but sometimes you don't want to fight with that kind of stuff. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is I found I can see that this is a complete through hole. There's no wires at all in there. So what I'm going to do is completely through drill this so that I can run screws from the outside and bolt this to the wall. So. Now I can just run them right through here. Much easier. I've been making some progress on cleaning the shop up, but it's boring work, so I'm looking for something a little bit more cerebral. I'm going to at least take a couple minutes and look back into this fan and see if I can't figure out what I need to do and if my new switch will work. Shit. Now this had what's called a Perkins 4-position snap switch that goes on the front of here. I can't show you very easily because it's way down low, and anyway, I might end up tipping this over, but what I want to demonstrate here is that that I had rebuilt this, what's called the choke coil, and it gives you your different speeds. And what I had done, the original choke coil was just toast. The wires were all coming apart, and it started to look like a fire hazard. So anyway, I pulled apart all the laminations. I counted the wraps and weighed the wire so that I could get a decent idea of how much wire there was between each. There's the amount of wires, and then I don't know enough about the electricity, but anyway, it provides variable degrees of resistance depending on where this is tapped into this coil set. So I had, and you can't see it anymore, but I'd gone through and measured the resistance with the multimeter and tagged it, and then mechanically went through and weighed it so that the so I've been tinkering around with this for quite some time right now. It's just electricity just boggles the mind. I just, you know, I sit back and I think about things, and I try to reason out how this should work and how that should work, and you know, at the end of the day I can usually get stuff to work, but not understanding, not truly knowing what's going on is not something that I like trafficking in. And I guess an analogy would be like animal training. You could teach a dog to do something, but the dog doesn't know why it's doing it. And I dislike working on stuff and having that sort of mentality where I'm doing things because I think I sort of know or think I know, but I know I don't know kind of thing. Anyway, it's just confounding, and I'm just trying to not mess anything up, and that's the whole point of all this stuff, is just not to go backwards. But anyway, I've got it. I think I've got it figured out where I can turn the switch on and off, and get it to work, and it doesn't shock me. So I'm gonna call that a win, and tidy up some of these wires, find the front facade for this, and the mounting plate that goes on here, and bolt this back together and find a nice safe place to keep it in the shop. And then anyway, we got plans for this, but that'll be a much later video. So anyway, alright, so I've got this soldered back together, wired up correctly, where the switch just sort of breaks the connection between the choke coil and the line in. So anyway, it runs, it turns on and off with the switch from the bottom now. I've got the face back on it. And this is the snap switch. So anyway, shit. Alright, so I've got this wired back up, the switch is on, and it works properly. I only have one speed, it's just an on and off at this point, but it's wired up, it's ready to plug in. Eventually, hopefully, I will find a guy that has a pile of Perkins 4-position snap switches, but apparently these are super valuable, extremely hard to find.